Presidential spokesperson Vincent Magwenya is briefing the media to give an update on the president's public program and other issues related to the presidency. Let's take you live to that in Pretoria.
Historical elections first. But yeah, welcome colleagues, and it's a great pleasure to have you here. It is a historic week and a significant calendar month in our nation's history. The President and the 7th administration that he leads would like to urge all South Africans from all backgrounds, races and cultural groups to join together in celebrating National Women's Day on the 9th of August 2024. This year's Women's Month will be commemorated under the theme celebrating 30 years of freedom towards women's development. The campaign will take stock of progress made on socio-economic empowerment of women since the advent of democracy and indicate the achievements of the Women's Charter. The 2024 Women's Day celebration will take place at the Dennis Nell Stadium in Pofadder in the Northern Cape this coming Friday on the 9th of August. The historical march on the 9th of August 1956 remains one of the largest demonstrations ever staged in the country's trajectory or history. The march witnessed about 20,000 women of all races marching to Pretoria's union buildings here. They presented a petition against the carrying of passes by women. The South African women were challenging, amongst others, the idea that a woman's place is in the kitchen, declaring it instead to be everywhere. Hence, the National Women's Day celebration is now an annual feature in our calendar, was initiated in 1994. This commemoration of the National Women's Day is a reminder of the important contributions that are made by women to our society, as well as a time to reflect on the advances in women's rights. President Ramaphosa has noted the positive strides South Africa continues to make in women's representation in key decision-making in various facets of our society. However, the President has bemoaned the setbacks we continue to witness of gender-based violence and its twin evil, femicide. The President has noted with concerns recent media reports of girls as young as 12 years old falling pregnant, especially in some areas in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, and other heinous scourges across the country that are perpetrated towards women and girls. The President urges parents, families, communities to work with the government and law enforcement agencies in protecting girl children and in ensuring their right to unhindered and safe development. On the 8th of August, which is tomorrow, President Ramaphosa will be welcomed by His Excellency Mr. João Manuel Lourenço, the President of the Republic of Angola. The two heads of state will use the occasion of the working visit to reflect on the bilateral relationship between the two countries, who share very deep historical ties that are rooted in the liberation struggle against colonialism and apartheid. The leaders will also share perspectives on issues of regional mutual interest, including the situation in the DRC, and on regional and continental efforts aimed at resolving the conflicts that are plaguing our continent. The President will be accompanied by the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, the Honorable Ronald Lamola, and the Minister of Defense, the Honorable Angie Motshekga. On the 13th of August, President Ramaphosa will meet with members of Cabinet, senior business leaders, and technical experts from government and business to discuss a new era of collaboration for a partnership that was launched over a year ago to address barriers to growth in South Africa. The media is invited to attend a virtual media briefing on the following day, the 14th of August, which will be hosted by the Presidency and B4SA. The briefing will be led by Ms. Phindile Baleni, the Director General in the Presidency and Secretary of Cabinet. Key updates will be provided by Mr. James Mackay, the CEO of the Energy Council of South Africa, Mr. Rudy Dix, the head of the Project Management Office in the Presidency, and Mr. Martin Kingston, who's the chairperson of the B4SA Steering Committee. They will also be joined by representatives from the Joint Initiative and workstream leads who will be in attendance to assist with media questions. We'll also provide a detailed advisory with links, etc., and everything else that you will require. On the 15th of August, the President will host the Health Compact signing. The stakeholders that will be present are integral to supporting the Department of Health and improving health systems, and their role is crucial to the success of the NHI. It is invaluable, and it's a greatly appreciated role that will take place at 1:30 here at the Union Buildings on the 15th of August. On the 17th of August, the President will attend the 44th Ordinary Summit of the Southern African Development Community, Heads of State and Government, that will be hosted by the Republic of Zimbabwe. The SADC Summit is responsible for the overall policy direction and control of functions of the community, ultimately making it the policy-making institution of SADC. The Ordinary SADC Summit is held every year and is attended by heads of state and government from all the 16 SADC member states. On Friday, the 23rd of August, the President will embark on the District Development Model Oversight Visit and Presidential Imbizo to the city of Guruleni Metropolitan Municipality. The DDM was established to improve coordination and alignment between the different spheres of government. This is an important initiative to improve planning, budgeting, and implementation at a local level by bringing all spheres, departments, and stakeholders together towards uplifting communities. You will recall that the planned DDM visit during April 2024 to the city of Guruleni had to be postponed due to the challenges that were faced by the municipality at the time. The President is therefore pleased that he will have the opportunity this time around to undertake the visit. The President will be accompanied by all members of the National Executive who will already be on the ground leading up to the visit. And colleagues, I'd like to take this opportunity to address some of the issues that have been raised with respect to the hosting of the Presidential Izimbizo, particularly on cost related to the hosting of these events. And I've received questions in this regard, and I hope those who have sent questions will take note of this response. Public participation is intrinsically part of the DNA of the democratic South Africa. To be exact, it was initiated by the Constitutional Assembly in 1994 to consult and keep South Africans abreast of the constitution writing process. It is against this background that the President can assert that the Presidential Izimbizo and the public participation programs are not political gimmicks of the current and previous administrations. Neither is it an extravagant exercise and a wasteful expenditure of taxpayers' money. Rather, it is a caring government which is engaging its citizens across the political divide. The Izimbizo started in 1994 and they've been entrenched in the South African public discourse. It has evolved from former presidents to today's public participation program of the Presidential Izimbizo under the banner of the District Development Model, the DDM. The Presidential Izimbizo program through the DDM was introduced in 2019, where the President signaled his intention to visit all 44 district municipalities and 8 metros. Its aim is to institutionalize integrated planning and delivery in the district and metropolitan site. This program is based on the principle of the one plan, where the challenges are identified and addressed in an integrated manner. Ministers and deputy ministers are appointed as political champions in a district or metro, and that member of the National Executive must oversee the integrated development and ensure that unnecessary blockages are unlocked. This program does not only focus on the challenges, but on medium to long-term planning to promote inclusive development in conjunction with other stakeholders in the metro or the district. The political champions are also held accountable by the President, and they are expected to submit quarterly reports to Cabinet about the DDM activities, progress, obstructions, and possible interventions. They must also indicate when the President should do a follow-up visit. There have been notable successes coming out of the interventions inspired by the presidential Izimbizo. For example, in the Sedibeng district in Gauteng, the presidential Imbizo contributed to a clinic becoming fully operational. This clinic was built before the COVID-19 lockdown. It had become a white elephant, and the community in Zone 17 of Sebokeng had to travel distances for basic medical care. Through the presidential Imbizo in October of 2022, an intergovernmental task team comprising of national, provincial, local government, and ESCOM identified the gaps for the clinic to become operational. The big issue was that it was not connected to the grid and that there was a standoff between the different spheres of government about cost. The presidential Izimbizo unlocked the bottlenecks. ESCOM and the various government departments procured the transformer, and finances were made available to connect the clinic to the grid. Today, the community is benefiting. The Izimbizo are more than just a feel-good or gig for the President and members of Cabinet. It is about identifying a district in conjunction with the provincial governments. Once a district has been identified, the various spheres of government come together. Different work streams are established to drive the process that is coordinated by the political champion. A few days before the actual Imbizo, ministers and deputy ministers are deployed to the district to inspect their respective programs. New projects are identified. On the day of the Imbizo, the President is accompanied by ministers, deputy ministers, premiers, members of provincial governments, mayors, councillors, and the community engages them. It does get heated at times and emotional. These Imbizo events have become a priority for the 7th administration, as the President identified local government as a priority focus area of the current government of national unity. Indeed, critics will point out at the high cost of the DDMs, and they will motivate how the money could have been utilized elsewhere. Yes, one cannot quantify the impact of the presidential Imbizo in monetary terms, but it should be measured over the medium to long term of what changes such events bring to communities. It is therefore mischievous to reduce the presidential Izimbizo to rands and cents. It is about a caring government that is closer to the people, ensuring their right to access to basic services is solidified. Government has an obligation to interact and communicate with its citizens in all corners of the country. With the government of national unity, this has become even more urgent so that all citizens can understand how the new administration is working for them. Unfortunately, it will be costly at times. However, all officials involved must ensure that procurement processes are conducted within the prescripts of the Public Finance Management Act as outlined. Where there are violations of the law, those must be fully investigated, and the perpetrators must be duly punished. This 7th administration will continue to engage citizens through the presidential Izimbizo, and the second round of Izimbizo, as I stated earlier, will start later this month at the Tsakane Stadium in the Guruleni Metro, and many will follow over the next 5 years. On the 26th of August, the President will address the Just Energy Transition Municipal Conference. The aim of the conference is to convene key stakeholders within the municipal space to chart the way forward for the effective implementation of the JET municipal portfolio set out in the JET implementation plan, commonly known as the JET IP, which was approved by Cabinet in November of 2023. The conference will outline the local government electricity distribution context, highlights the key features of the JET IP.
All right, we're going to leave the presidential spokesperson, Vincent Magwenya, there, who was just giving us an update on the president's program of action in the coming days.